from across the state. This is Metro News Midday, presented by Salango Law, with 13 News and Tonight Live anchor Amanda Barron and Metro News' Dave Allen.
Welcome into the 2 o'clock hour, the final hour on this Thursday afternoon. Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com. We'll get to Open Line West Virginia at the bottom of the hour. Your calls and text, 1-800-765-TALK, 1-800-765-8255, or text 304-TALK-304. It's Metro News Midday.
Metro News Midday is presented by Salango Law. SalangoLaw.com. Join in by calling 800-765-8255 or text 304-TALK-304. Let's go live to downtown Charleston. Here's Dave Allen.
It's a Thursday afternoon. Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com. Dave Allen in the host chair for the next hour or so. Stephanie Pauly, Ryan Nicholson, our producers today. Open Line West Virginia coming up at the bottom of the hour. 1-800-765-TALK is the phone number. Text 304-TALK-304. Already got several texts to get to. We'll start getting to those at the bottom of the hour. Welcome to the show now, Senator Jason Barrett, Republican out of the 16th. Good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. All right, so this is I guess the dust has settled a little bit as far as the legislative session go. The governor, of course, signing some bills, not signing all the bills. But let's go back to the legislative session. Overall, your take on the session, sir?
Well, I think there are certainly highlights of session. Anytime that there is an election year, things are a little tougher to deal with at times, and so, we had to manage through some of that. But, I think when we look at giving a 5% personal income tax cut to the people of West Virginia, I think that's certainly a highlight, being able to send back essentially $125 million in tax revenue back to the taxpayers. I think the governor has mentioned several times about conforming with the Big Beautiful Bill, which also reduces taxes by around $100 million. So it's huge tax cuts, I think, to the people of West Virginia, taxpayers of West Virginia.
Why was this so important to you? I mean, other than the obvious that no one wants to pay any more taxes than they have to, which we all completely understand and are on board with that. But why specifically was this so important to you?
Well, we started down this path, Dave, as you know, a number of years ago, trying to reduce our personal income tax to the level in which we think that has a huge economic impact and brings people to the state of West Virginia. The area of the state that I represent, as you mentioned, is the 16th district. It's all of Jefferson County and about half of Berkeley County. And we see a tremendous amount of people moving into our area of the state all the time. There's so much new construction, new homes being built, but we don't see that in most of the rest of the state. And all the projections and all the research that we have done and all the analysis that's been done, it really shows that once you get to that personal income tax cut of 50% or more, you really start to see economic drivers. You start to see, people move into the state of West Virginia. And where we've seen in the past year a net migration into the state of West Virginia, we're still seeing a declining population because, unfortunate reality is in West Virginia, we have more folks passing away than we have being born. And so we really have to increase those numbers of net migration to have younger people move into our state. Now, again, that's not a problem that we have here in the Eastern Panhandle. We have people moving in all the time, but it's the rest of the state, or a vast majority of the rest of the state, has the opposite problem.
So what is it that is so attractive about the area that you represent, that so many people are making that choice to move out to Jefferson and to Berkeley? What are you guys doing right? I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I think it's a couple of. I think there are a lot of reasons, but the top couple of reasons that I would point to would be the tax burden is considerably lower in West Virginia than you would see in Northern Virginia. I think what we've seen from where Virginia politics has gone since their last election is a hard turn to the left. You look at the state of Maryland, who is also a very left-wing liberal state. So I think when we look at, and you look at the folks that are moving in, a lot of it is, a lot of people make this assumption that Eastern Panhandle has a lot of people moving in from Northern Virginia and Maryland, and so they must be of the progressive or liberal persuasion, but they're not. There are a lot of conservative voters coming and people coming to West Virginia because they feel like they've been run out of their state. So I think the economic reason is property taxes are lower. There's more freedom than the political aspect is that those other areas that border West Virginia and the Eastern Panhandle have become so liberal that it's pushing conservative-minded people out.
Talking again with Senator Jason Barrett, who represents District 16. What were some of the misses of the legislative session, in your opinion?
Well, that's a hard question to ask. I mean, or to answer, but because we get in that election cycle, it's an unfortunate reality, and I hate to keep coming back to that, but it is a part of the legislative process at times. I think that could we always do more on economic development? Sure, and I think that there were a couple of bills dealing with the aerospace industry and aviation, and I think that those just kind of died at the last night. There were some tweaks to them, some efforts to try to make them a little better, and we came up short on that. And I think West Virginia is really primed. I think we have several airports. Here in the Eastern Panhandle, we have the longest runway in the state at over 8,000 feet, and a couple of other amazing airports. And I think that we need to do more to invest in those airports and bring an industry that frankly is really looking for a home.
So let's talk about data centers, because that has been a hot button topic. It was just announced last week in Putnam County that Google is looking at that they made the announcement along with the Economic Development Authority, the governor's office, different people about this data center that looks like it's going to be coming to the Buffalo area, Putnam County. There's been discussions about it in other parts of the state of West Virginia. I know there have been in the Eastern Panhandle as well. What's your take overall on data centers, sir?
Well, I think that, and you're right, it's been a hot topic here in the Eastern Panhandle. Recently, there have been a couple of forums that have gone on, that have taken place, and people have some concerns. And I think a lot of the folks I think there are a lot of folks that really just want information and want to understand, and not necessarily opposed to data centers. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a group of liberal folks up here, and some of them aren't from here and don't necessarily live here, but they've kind of infiltrated, I think, to change the perception and set a narrative of what of things that are not accurate about data centers. So, but I think the people that live here, that I don't think they're opposed to data centers. I think they want to have a better understanding. Certainly, the local control issue is one that people have questions about. I think the revenue piece, I think we've been able to explain that. I think people are kind of okay with that and understand the way that works. But when we talk about setbacks and how far does it need to be off of the property line, I think that's a concern. I think when you look at water usage and where the water comes from and how will it impact local residents is a question. There's a rumor and a narrative set that the cost of electricity is going to go up. And I think that narrative really gets momentum because people start to see, and they look at Loudoun County, Virginia, which borders Jefferson and areas like that in Northern Virginia, who have a tremendous amount of data centers, and they see these high electricity rates in Virginia. But what gets lost in that conversation is that Virginia just hasn't kept up with they haven't generated the power they need to keep up with their demand. So they import 30% of their power basically all the time. And West Virginia is a net exporter of 40 to 60% at any given time of our electricity being exported out. So, I think that there's so many unknowns, and when there are unknowns, people tend to be very cautious about that. But I think, before there's a lot of construction done and before their final approval on these data centers, I really expect some more of this information to get out and to give a better understanding to the people of the Eastern Panhandle.
And I think a lot of people, here's my take on it, sitting here in Charleston, West Virginia, sir, is I think that there's this narrative that people are for him or against him, as Hoppy Kercheval would say. But I think there's a great number of folks that aren't necessarily either one. They just have questions, and they just want questions to be answered. They want to make sure that they're environmentally friendly. And again, all the negative things you've heard about the noise and the water pollution. They just want to get questions answered. And because they ask the questions, it doesn't necessarily. And I know you agree with this. Doesn't necessarily mean they're against them. They just have questions.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And I think that's where most of the citizens of the Eastern Panhandle are right now. But I do think there are those folks that are trying to set a narrative that data centers are completely bad. There's no benefit whatsoever, and that are completely against data centers. And it comes from a liberal party who really struggles to win any races, and they're doing what they can in an election year to try to upset the apple cart, the same way they tried to do with Rockwool, which is a a manufacturer here in Jefferson County. It's the same playbook that they used a number of years ago.
As somebody who is in the Senate and you've been in the legislature for some time, it just seems to me, and you can agree or disagree, that at times there was kind of a contentious relationship between the governor's office and the House or the Senate. What was your take on all that? Because there's got to be some discussion. You don't want everybody to be in all lockstep with each other. That's democracy. But overall, the relationship with the legislators and the governor. Your take?
Well, I think it's been widely reported about some of the rocky relationships that are out there. I don't know that I want to go down that path, but I'll tell you about where I think my opinion is and what the relationships that I have and where I think the Republican caucus is in the Senate with relationships. I mean, we at the end of the day are just trying to do the best thing for West Virginia. I've been able to work with the governor extremely well, been able to work with my counterpart in the House well, and leadership in the House as well. And so, we do have differing opinions of how we. I think we all want to get to the same place. We just don't always agree how we get there. But the governor is extremely hands-on. He's very active. He takes a huge role in working essentially every piece of legislation that comes out. He knows, and he is aware and mindful of what's going on. I have no problems whatsoever working with the governor, and I don't have any problems working with the House. And whatever other rocky relationships are out there, that's for them to discuss. But it's 307 miles from my house, Dave, and I go to the Capitol to try to do the best job I can. And I think we all look at it that way in the Senate of just trying to do the right thing for the people of West Virginia. These kind of small battles and personality fights, I do my best to stay out of that.
Well, and there's nothing wrong with a little discussion. And, and I'm not saying one is better than the other, but and you served, in the legislature before, there's a big difference between the style of Governor Patrick Morrisey and a Governor Jim Justice. I'm not saying which one's better or worse. I'm just saying they're completely different styles, right?
That's right. And you just have to, as you know, I serve as the finance chairman, and I just have to adapt as to what we're working with. This budget this year that we had to work on was very different than last year's budget. And it's just a process. And, I'm very pragmatic, I think. And I just look at a problem and figure out what's the shortest distance to get to the solution. And that's just how I operate. Senator
Jason Barrett, we appreciate you taking time out of your schedule to be here. Any big Easter plans for you and the family?
Well, we will certainly be celebrating Easter, but today is our son's 4th birthday, so we are getting ready for a birthday party later this evening.
And so you took our call. I feel honored that you did that. What's your son's name?
You'll laugh, but his name's Berkeley.
Why would I laugh at that? That's not a bad name.
Well, I'm from Berkeley County. That's
okay.
Right.
Well, I have a coworker here who has a young daughter named Charleston because she loved the city of Charleston so much. So you know what? Your child, you can name it whatever you want. Nothing wrong with that.
Hey, as long as my wife approves.
Well, I was going to say you'll do what she tells you to do if you're smart. Okay. Jason Barrett, I appreciate you being here. Thanks a lot. Have a great Easter. We'll talk soon.
Take care, Dave. Thanks.
Senator Jason Barrett, again, Republican from District 16. And I've asked several members of the legislature this, from time to time when I've interviewed them, and I've asked them to compare and contrast the style of a Governor Jim Justice with a Governor Patrick Morrisey, because they're very different. And again, I am not throwing shade on either one. I'm just saying, and you heard that from Senator Barrett, that Governor Patrick Morrisey is a very, very hands-on type governor. And now Senator, then Governor Jim Justice, not so much. And that's not a slam on Jim Justice by any stretch of the imagination. It's just a different style of governing. And I think some of the legislators, and the ones that I have talked to in private conversations and the ones I've actually talked to on the air as well, they just, there was a little bit of a learning curve. Because, now Jim Justice, his staff was very hands-on, him not so much. This governor, Patrick Morrisey, is all over everything. And again, that's not a bad thing. 100%. Don't read that wrong. It's not a bad thing. It's just he's a very hands-on type governor. It was a little bit of a learning experience, I think, for some of the legislators. It is 2:20 Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com. We're heard all over the great state of West Virginia on great radio stations like WSLW in White Sulphur Springs, WEPM Martinsburg, WKKX and WVLY in Wheeling, WAJR in Morgantown, WKLP Kaiser, WVW Logan, WD&E in Elkins, our flagship here in Charleston, WCHS, WKMZ Clarksburg, and WJLS in Beckley. We'll get to Open Line West Virginia coming up at the bottom of the hour, 1-800-765-TALK, or text 304-TALK 304. We'll take a break and come back after this. Stay with us.
We'll be right back. This is Metro News Midday. Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
There's often an assumption that my nasal congestion, my sneezing, my runny nose, these are just things that I have to live with. A lot of times patients will tell me, I've tried every allergy medication, every nasal spray, I've done it all, doc. And then I'll frequently say, what about this? You need to come to the WVU Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center. If those things haven't worked, there are new options, new treatments. There's probably something we can do to help. You don't just have to live with those symptoms.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off, or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
With Metro News Hotline. If it's trending, it's probably here.
And then the other thing, his last name is one of those weird Norwegian names where they have two vowels that slam into each other. It's like the A and the E are like cemented into each other.
You're like the 12th Dave that works here. What do you think people from Norwegian think about that?
That is fair.
Join Dave Weekly and Coop weekdays for Hotline on Metro News Television.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
Voice of West Virginia.
$2:25 on a Thursday. It's Metro News Midday powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com. Ryan Nicholson, Stephanie Pauly, our producers today. If you're a parent worried about how in the world am I going to pay for this kid's college, Metro News proudly presents the 19th annual West Virginia Scholar Program. One high school junior is going to get a full ride to Wesleyan. Room, board, tuition, and fees all included. Full details available. WVMetronews.com. Simply click on the Apply Now button. Deadline is May 3rd. 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program presented by Greer Industries and the West Virginia Hospital Association. Go to WVMetronews.com and apply. Hit that Apply Now button. But the deadline is May 3rd. And now that we're into the month of April, it'll be here before you know it. At this year's round, presented by the fine folks of Greer Industries and the West Virginia Hospital Association. Details available at WVMetronews.com. Of course, the big national story this afternoon is that Pam Bondi is out as Attorney General, and Todd Blanche will be taking over as acting Attorney General. So some conflicting stories coming out about this. We'll get into it after the bottom of the hour break. But one way or the other, as we stand right now, Pam Bondi is out as U.S. Attorney General. We're talking earlier with Senator Barrett about people getting along well. Statements came out not long ago from the West Virginia Democratic Party. They're upset with the governor. Imagine that. West Virginia Democrat Party slams Morrisey's vetoes of child protection bills. Won't read the entire statement, but the Democratic Party condemning Governor Patrick Morrisey's veto of multiple bills they say aimed at protecting children, strengthening foster care, transition, and improving child safety, and supporting, their words, vulnerable West Virginians. The vice chair, Teresa Torveza, said of the party, time and again, Governor Morrisey had a choice to stand with the kids and families or to hide behind bureaucratic excuses. I don't know why I just started that with an A, but excuses. It's spelled right. I just can't read right. And time and again, he chooses the excuses, according to a statement, end quote. Among the vetoed measures, House Bill 4393, which sought to expand prevention services to protect kids from abuse and neglect before they reach the crisis point. And again, I'm reading their statement. House Bill 4730, designed to support young people aging out of foster care. We talked about that one earlier. Senate Bill 744, which would strengthen oversight and accountability in child protective services following critical incidents. SB 558, aimed at improving safety for kids traveling to school. SB 649, expanding access to critical health monitoring for at-risk West Virginians. And the final one, House Bill 5074, which would direct resources toward law enforcement and child protective efforts. Continuing on with the statement, in his veto messages, the governor repeatedly acknowledged the importance of these issues, calling these bills noble, recognizing the need to protect kids, and emphasizing the importance of safety. Statement from the Democratic Party before vetoing them anyway. Statement from Mike Pushkin. I was wondering where Pushkin was in all this. Delegate and state Democratic Party chair. You don't get credit for saying the right things if you refuse to do the right things. Governor Morrisey admits these are real problems and then walks away from the solution. That is a statement that was released earlier from the West Virginia Democratic Party on some of the bills that the governor, in some cases, signed, or did not sign. And so that is that. Open line West Virginia coming up at the bottom of the hour. 1-800-765-TALK is the phone number. Text 304-TALK-304. Now, Amanda told you earlier, every Friday on the midday show during the 1 o'clock hour, we put a different restaurant in the spotlight, somebody that's doing great food items from around the state of West Virginia. We did something a little bit different during the Lenten season. We tried to focus on, we focused on a couple restaurants that did fish for the Lenten season, but we kind of drifted a little bit more into the fish fries, your Knights of Columbus organization, things of that nature. Well, tomorrow it was my co-host idea, because Easter's Sunday, that we get into the peanut butter egg thing. So I've been looking forward to this interview. We are going to have an interview with a church pastor here in West Virginia who's basically got a peanut butter egg factory going on in their church. It's one after the other, and they are known for it. So we're going to tell you their story coming up tomorrow during the 1 o'clock hour on the Lunch Spot. We'll take a break. When we come back, it's Open Line West Virginia. Stay with us. And now we'll go to the Metro News Anchor Desk for a check of local news. You're listening to Midday on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
West Virginia Metro News, I'm Jeff Jenkins. It remains to be seen what the relationship will end up being between the Justice family's Greenbrier Resort and the hotel giant Omni, which now owns the $200 million debt the Justices owed to Carter Bank. Metro News statewide correspondent Brad McElhaney says it could be moving toward Omni having a role in the future of the famed Greenbrier.
It's a hotel company, and so I think that they, in the end, are going to want to assure their investment by using the expertise and the assets that they have to try to, get the historic Greenbrier Hotel on firmer ground.
And Brad broke the original story. Read more about that at WVMetronews.com. The energy technology company from Terrace breaking ground today on a new facility near Point Pleasant in Mason County. State Senator Eric Tarr telling WMOV Radio what Frontieras does is kind of like Back to the Future for the Mountain State.
And this one is coming in really bringing West Virginia's roots back into it, because it's taking coal and using coal to make products from that coal and then selling it across the world.
Governor Patrick Morrisey and others are on hand for today's groundbreaking. This afternoon at WVMetroNews.com, we have more information on the arrest of a man and woman in Brooke County charged with the death of their 1-month-old child. Authorities describe the Fallsview residence as being in deplorable condition. You're listening to Metro News. For 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
The last class of the day for my student athletes isn't English, science, or math. It's school sports, where the number one priority is teaching, just like every other classroom. As their coach, I help them grow as leaders and become better people, preparing them for the game and, more importantly, for life. That's why the best wins are the lessons they learn, which will impact them long after their playing days are over. Encourage your student to participate in school sports.
This message presented by the WVSSAC and the West Virginia Athletic Directors Association.
Worried about paying for college? Metro News is proud to present the 19th annual West Virginia Scholar Program, where one high school junior in West Virginia will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan College, including room, board, tuition, and fees. For details, go to WVMetroNews.com and click the Apply Now button. Deadline is May 3rd. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program, presented by Greer Industries and the West Virginia Hospital Association. Go to WVMetroNews.com and apply today by May 3rd.
We are halfway through the spring forest fire season. Assistant State Forester Eric Gerald with what it's been like.
Year to date, we've had 442 fires in the state, and we've burnt approximately 2,556 acres total.
And Gerald says it's very important to be cautious, abide by those spring burning rules. You can only burn after 5 in the evening. Another warm day today in the Mountain State. From the Metro News Anchor Desk, I'm Jeff Jenkins.
No young person should ever have to worry about having a safe place to sleep at night, or whether anyone cares about them.
But the reality is, 1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year.
For over 50 years, Covenant House has been helping youth in crisis and giving them the support and tools they need to succeed in life. To learn more, go to covenanthouse.org today. Thank you for caring.
This is Metro News Midday, presented by Salango Law. SalangoLaw.com.
Welcome back to the show. 26 away from 3 on the Thursday afternoon. I said on the Thursday afternoon. There's actually more than one Thursday afternoon on this particular Thursday afternoon. Metro News Midday, and I do want to remind you that we have our lunch spot covered for tomorrow. We're going to be talking peanut butter eggs. However, we'll get back to normal next week, so if you'd like to nominate a restaurant around the state of West Virginia, the only rule really is that we would like it. We kind of stay away from a lot of the chains, to be honest with you. If they're a West Virginia-based chain, okay, maybe, but we're more focused on the mom and pops. So if you got one in your community or one community that you like to visit, all they got to be willing to do is give us about a 10-minute interview. We just need the owner, general manager, somebody to talk about it. We want people that are doing some unique foods, and we've done a lot of. We've done everything from Italian dishes to bakery-type stuff to pizzas to a little bit of everything. Drop us an email, midday@WVMetroNews.com, midday@WVMetroNews.com. Or you can reach out to either Amanda Barron or myself on social media. For me, it's Dave Allen Radio on Facebook or @DaveA70 on X. And speaking of food, I got to tell you, we had a little get-together here at 1111, our flagship here in Charleston today. It started out as a little potluck thing, kind of a kickoff into spring, into the Easter weekend. And you know how these things work in your office. It's like, okay, well, I'll bring this. There was a sign-up sheet out there. I'm somebody who grew up in the Baptist church, okay? I grew up a free meal Baptist. Now, let me explain to you what a free meal Baptist is. Free meal Baptist means there's not a problem in the world that some chicken and dumplings can't cure. You know, it doesn't matter. Got an ailment, somebody died, dog got hit by a car or whatever, send them some chicken and dumplings. I will say that the table in our conference room out there has got so much food on it ham, Chris Lawrence, something that he killed. I don't know, some sort of varmint stew. We had pizzas. We had a couple desserts, some deviled eggs. I never met a deviled egg I didn't like, by the way. My wife makes sriracha deviled eggs. Good stuff there. But we had a lot of food. There are pictures posted on one of our stations here in Charleston, V100. There are pictures posted on the V100 site. And, of course, because I always seem to have my picture taken, especially if I don't know it's coming, in the worst possible position. I'm in line in one of the pictures. I just saw it during the break. I am in line behind one of our new fellows, Jack Carlson, here. And I've just got this look on my face like, would you hurry up? Not to Jack specifically, but I mean to people in general. And I'll have some more pictures posted of our little soiree on Dave Allen Radio a little bit later on. But anyway, had a great time, as we said in the church growing up, fellowshipping one with the other, and so good stuff. Keeping an eye again on the national front, President Trump announcing that Pam Bondi is out as Attorney General. Deputy Attorney Attorney General Todd Blanche will be taking over as acting Attorney General. Trump apparently discussed her possible, get it out here in a minute, Dave, termination with, quote, senior members of his team, and then told her directly he was going to replace her just before she addressed the nation. All right, so you're fired. Now go out there and do good. The source said that Bondi actually pushed back, asking for more time. However, it did not seem that the president agreed with that request. And, of course, it is kind of interesting when you look at it, because there have been a couple of conflicting statements that have come out about this. One of them saying that she was staying on with the team in a different level. But then the president released a statement saying that she'd be in the private sector. So believe whichever one you want, I guess. Let's get to Open Line West Virginia, 1-800-765-TALK. It's the phone number, text 304, talk 304. I will say this real quick, though. A couple of statements were released. Of course, everybody's releasing statements on the Bondi situation now. Nancy Mace and Thomas Massey both out with statements, and I don't have the statements in front of me, but basically I saw them flash on television earlier. Basically what they said was, let's get somebody in here that can get to the bottom of the Epstein investigation. That's the gist of what those two individuals said. Text says, Pearl S. Buck may have been the first American woman to win a Pulitzer Prize and a Nobel Peace Prize for Literature, but not the only one, contrary to one of your ads that's running now. Toni Morrison, Pulitzer Prize-winning author, poet laureate Toni Morrison won the 1988 Pulitzer Prize for Fiction for her novel Beloved. The prestigious award recognized the book as a distinguished work of American fiction exploring the haunting legacy of slavery. She was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1993, later becoming a renowned figure to American literature, says a texter. Text says, on TJ's commentary, best commentary to date, TJ. Outstanding job, sir. Sincerely, TJ Meadows. No, I'm just kidding. He didn't write that. But if you didn't hear TJ's commentary, it's posted at WVMetroNews.com. But we had Meadows on the show talking about it earlier today. He is going through the FBI Citizens Academy right now, and it's affecting him. And I mean that in a positive way, because we talked about it, off the microphone. The decisions that our first responders are put in on a regular basis. I mean, it really, really is. But it was an outstanding commentary for you, Mr. Meadows. I would agree with what the texter said. Text said, our governor and his family have destroyed once great Greenbrier. I think they probably meant senator there. I don't think that Governor Morrisey's done anything. This was a reference to Jim Justice. The text goes on to say, I hope the new people can restore it to what it once was. Text, the president is unhinged. You need only to watch last night's interview for further confirmation. Text says the Trump presidency is doing so terribly that Trump is firing his staff. Pam Bondi, latest casualty to take the blame for Trump's failures. Trump's no Harry Truman. The buck is always passed on with Trump. Text said, I truly hope that for the future of our country, we can get back to normal and vote for the normal candidates, Republican or Democrat. I have said that a few times myself, that I have said that I just long for a sense of normalcy. The question I would ask, though, is what defines normal in 2026? And is there really an appetite for it? Because our political leaders, it's like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Our political leaders feed off of the public. Or does the public feed off the political figures? Think about it for a moment. Donald Trump, in my opinion, whether you like the guy or don't, Donald Trump is a product, even though he's been around for a long, long time. His personality and the following is a product of social media. And what I mean by that is 30 years ago, a Donald Trump, be it Republican or Democrat, doesn't get elected because it wouldn't have been tolerated. Some of the things that Donald Trump and the way he behaves simply would not have been tolerated. And there's been people in the Republican Party that have said the same thing. But you're also going to have people that are going to say, well, Trump is doing what his voters want. And the American people elected Donald Trump, and they knew everything they were getting when they elected him. And they elected him anyway. And so there. Text says the president saying last night took a long time for World War II and Vietnam to end. Is he really comparing this situation in Iran to those wars? He is delusional. 1-800-765-TALK, phone number, text 304-TALK 304. Text says, great weather out there today. How about we fix some potholes? Indeed. Text says, so Kristi Noem's husband is now a freak. Figures, most Republicans are. I think there's a lot of freaks out there of all kinds, to be honest with you. That Kristi Noem story, man, it is bizarre. I talked a little bit about it on the local show in Charleston. There's a really good, and I don't get paid anything by the Gazette-Mail, okay? I just want to say, I don't even know this gentleman personally, but if somebody that reads the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Ben Fields is a writer, opinion writer for the Gazette-Mail, has a really good editorial today on the whole Kristi Noem situation. It's good. Again, I don't even know Ben Fields. I'm just saying it's a good editorial if you get a chance to read it. It is 2:43, Open Line, West Virginia, 1-800-765-TALK is the phone number, text 304-TALK 304. Open Line, West Virginia. We'll take a break and come back after this.
Looking to advance your career without putting life on hold? Earn your MBA from Glenville State University in as little as 18 months. Choose from in-demand concentrations like artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and healthcare administration. Whether you're leading teams, analyzing data, or protecting digital systems, our programs are designed for working professionals who want flexibility and results. Take the next step with an MBA from Glenville State University. Learn more and apply today at glenville.edu.
We'll be right back. This is Metro News Midday. Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off, or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Touchdown! We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
There's often an assumption that my nasal congestion, my sneezing, my runny nose, these are just things that I have to live with. A lot of times patients will tell me, I've tried every allergy medication, every nasal spray, I've done it all, doc. And then I'll frequently say, what about this? You need to come to the WVU Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center. If those things haven't worked, there are new options, new treatments. There's probably something we can do to help. You don't just have to live with those symptoms.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the road.
You want to know what West Virginia is talking about?
It's good to be back in Morgantown today.
Now it's different.
I think it's mostly just business.
What I voted for and what I think makes the most sense.
Well, Dave, this has been a bit of a controversy.
I want to thank the caller last week that said I sounded like Hoppy Kercheval. That was flattering.
Join Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows Monday through Friday for Talk Line on Metro News Television.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Welcome back to the show. We got 12 away from 3 o'clock on this Thursday afternoon. Metro News Midday, powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com. 1-800-765-TALK is the phone number. Text 304-TALK-304. Stephanie Pauly, Ryan Nicholson, our producers. I was referencing this Christy Nome story. The bimbofication is the new word, and I have determined that in the new year, I know we're in April, but I'm going to use bimbofication as much as possible because it's a fun word to say. Text says the Republican Party is one long human centipede with Donald Trump at the front. Text says, Dave, please stop whining about the Republicans closing their primary. I love you, Dave, but you're a registered independent. Remember, you left the party. Yes, I'm not whining about it, okay, at all. I said before, if the Republicans want to close their primary, which they did to independents, that's their right. They can set forth whatever rules they want, just like the Democrat Party can or any other party can. My point was, I think it's a huge mistake, but I'm not whining about it. I'm just saying I think from a strategic standpoint, I think they made a mistake. It's just my opinion. They can do whatever they want. Text said, tune in for my daily dose of Trump derangement syndrome. This hour never disappoints. 1-800-765-8255. Text 304-TALK-304. Text says, when it comes to Trump, it's funny. If George Bush or George Bush Sr. had the same policies, there wouldn't be any issues for the most part like there are now. However, since Trump's name is on them, that's what irks the Democrats so badly. They're holding the American people hostage over a person's last name and personality. That's it, says the texter. Texas Democrats and the liberal media can't seem to get it through their heads. No one ever said Trump was a king. In fact, he's a very flawed human being. We all are. He's just a man trying to clean up a lot of messes that were left by liberals. Cut him some slack. I, says the texter, thinks he's doing a great job. The text says, great story with the St. Albans guy going to the Final Four with his team. Yeah, we talked to a gentleman earlier who is the strength and conditioning coach for the Illinois Illini, and they are on their way actually, they're already at the Final Four. And we actually talked to him during the 12 o'clock hour from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, where the Illini will be playing on Saturday evening. He's a native of St. Albans. And big shout out to my longtime boss. You hear him on the program from during the state tournament time, Speedy Bevins. he of Bevins Insurance, cheap plug, in Hurricane. And one of the, Sarah, a lady that works in his office, actually went to high school and with Adam, and they were able to help us in facilitating that. Also, a big shout out to St. Albans Mayor Scott James, who helped out with that interview as well. It was a pleasure to talk to him. So it was, I've never met the gentleman, but it was a good interview. Seemed like a really, really great guy. Text says, congratulations to the Marshall women's basketball team. But let's remember, WVU will always be the Big Brothers here, and Big Brothers are playing in Vegas tonight. And again, I go back to the fact that you can cheer for both and be happy for both. Text said, I voted for President Trump 3 times and will vote for J.D. Vance in 2028. MAGA will continue. Text says, definitely a mistake for Republicans to close their primary. It makes them look weak. Text says, I, for one, am glad to know that the Republican Party has freaks in it, too. Actually, they always have. Just now coming out. Pardon the pun, says the text. I see what you did there. Text says, I see a lot of similarities between the war with Iran and roundabouts. People need to get with the program and get programmed. Get your MK Ultra on, says the texter. Okay. Text says, great. The big old tax cut means something like $6 a year for me. I will pay off my mortgage and truck with that for sure. Text says, MAGAs lose big time this election. Watch them get violent again, says the texter. If I'm assuming you mean the midterms, I agree. I think the Republicans are going to lose a lot of ground. I mean, I've been wrong before. I think they're going to lose a lot of ground in the midterm elections. As far as the violence goes, I don't really foresee that happening. But I never would have saw January 6th happen either. It is 2:53. It's a Thursday afternoon. Metro News Midday. We will close it out right after this.
Worried about paying for college? Metro News is proud to present the 19th Annual West Virginia Scholar Program, where one high school junior in West Virginia will win a full scholarship to West Virginia Wesleyan College, including room, board, tuition, and fees. For details, go to wvmetronews.com and click the Apply Now button. Deadline is May 3rd. The 2026 West Virginia Scholar Program, presented by Greer Industries and the West Virginia Hospital Association. Go to wvmetronews.com and apply today by May 3rd.
We'll be right back. This is Metro News Midday. Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your App Store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Touchdown! Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. Take your pick from our massive selection. Now up to $5,500 off select new Acadias and 3.9% for 60 months. The great deals continue with our large selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the world.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. and they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
There's often an assumption that my nasal congestion, my sneezing, my runny nose, these are just things that I have to live with. A lot of times patients will tell me, I've tried every allergy medication, every nasal spray, I've done it all, doc. And then I'll frequently say, what about this? You need to come to the WVU Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center. If those things haven't worked, there are new options, new treatments. There's probably something we can do to help. You don't just have to live with those symptoms.
Sunshine, open roads, and a new Toyota from Dan Cava Toyota World. Lease an all-new Camry for as low as $398 a month. All new Tundras now up to $8,000 off. All new Tacomas now up to $4,500 off or lease as low as $399 a month. $7,500 off the new BZ or 0% financing for 72 months. We've got a Toyota for you at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
Touchdown! Walk.org.
Welcome back to the show. We got about 3 minutes before the top of the hour. Metro News Midday powered by Salango Law. Visit salangolaw.com. Stephanie Pauly, Ryan Nicholson, our producers today. Dave Weekly is coming up.
Here.
See that spread of food we had in there?
What? Food?
Yeah.
No, don't know anything about it.
I got to tell a quick story on my boy Daniel Woods, okay? Because he's been in Charleston now for a few months, but he's still under, actually longer than that. He's still under the hazing rule. We can still get him, right? Okay?
Absolutely.
For at least the first year and a half or so. He's been with the company longer, but anyway. So we had a lot of this food left over. I said earlier, we just had a little get together, kind of a potluck thing. Everybody brought things, and so we had a lot of food. So I contacted Charleston Police Department. Because I like to take care of us, not just me, but the company likes to take care of the men and women in blue. So I just called and said, hey, you've got a couple officers in this area. Don't bring the whole force, but if you got a couple officers in this area that do a great job patrolling, we'd like to feed them. So a couple came in, and TJ Meadows is giving these two officers a tour of the building. So Amanda and I are here. We're talking to Daniel during the 12 o'clock hour about the WVU men's basketball team playing tonight, and also Marshall and NIT. And so TJ just brings him in the studio, and the cops are behind him. And Daniel, my boy, gets this worried look on his face because there are police officers just walking through the studio. And TJ just walks them right by me and just takes them out to the little room to the side here where something goes on. I don't know what goes on in there.
Right.
And it was just, if you could see the expression on Daniel Wood's face with these police officers. And Amanda just keeps going, and I keep going, because we've been doing this for a long time. But I told him, so that's probably the first time you've ever seen police officers come in the studio. I said, I saw a guy when I worked in Ohio get hauled out of the control room in handcuffs.
I'm with you. I've had that happen as well.
Welcome to radio.
Not that I would know about such things.
No. Well, you married her anyway, though. So, all right, Hotline is coming up on many of these same Metro News stations. And,
Connor Griffin called up by the Pirates for their opening day tomorrow, so we're talking about stars. Do you remember when?
All right, that's coming up on Hotline and many of the same Metro News stations. I'll be back again to do it along with Amanda Barron tomorrow. Till then, have fun. I love somebody.